Namato Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening. So today is Thursday, the 2nd of July 2020, and this is Achan Sujant from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. As usual, I'm here with you all, and thank you everyone for listening this online daily Dhamma reflection for half an hour at the same time every day. So that's 6:30 UK time. And thank you Sarala, Manish, Margaret, and everyone so following almost every night and practicing. So this is our ongoing practice, ongoing program, online program since the April. Continue after half an hour reflection. Will be a half an hour chanting and half an hour meditation. So this has been our regular practice since April until now. And it is just to give an opportunity to learn Buddhism and Buddhist perspectives in different situations, and also information about some of the Buddhist activities that all the Buddhists should follow, and how also Buddhist teachings can be applied in our day-to-day life in different circumstances. And thank you everyone for all the feedbacks and questions, and I try to cover all the questions as much as I can every night, and sometimes I just skip some of the questions, and that doesn't mean that I ignored, but simply because there are other important topics to talk and topics to discuss, and as a result I just skip and move on to something else. And whenever I remember, I normally come back to the topics or the questions that you have posted on. So you're most welcome to post your questions and your feedbacks after you have heard and after you have listened to the talks. It is simply finding ways to enhance your understanding about what the Buddha taught and how can we apply in our day-to-day life. Because Buddhism, some would say, is a religion, and others would say it's a way of life. And meanwhile, some would say it is a universal philosophy that whoever practices properly then ultimately find the happiness, in which we can see that regardless of those who believe in a Buddhism or not, there are plenty of people studying Buddhism and Buddhist philosophies, and particularly meditation, and have benefited immensely. And there are plenty of scholars, and as well as general public, those who have studied and practiced, somehow it have helped to overcome stress, bereavement, depression, and also understood the value of how this precious life is. As the Buddha also said, to be born as a human being is very rare in the world. So that's why, having understood this human life is so rare to attain, one should take this opportunity to celebrate and use this time skillfully and understand that how vulnerable our life is. So rather than spending heedlessly, we better spend it more productively towards our own benefit and benefit of others. particularly if we are more conscious about how vulnerable we are and how our life is so fragile and the life is so short, then our life becomes so valuable, and every night and every moment, every morning when we woke up, or every minute that we live, it's become so important, and we will spend these each and every moment very productively and very wisely and very mindfully. Whether we are eating, whether we are walking, whether we are talking, we will be more mindful and acting in a way to promote our own well-being and as well as others' well-being. We will not be acting, projecting our ego and dominating others. We will not be acting, projecting our own views and perceptions simply to dominate others' view and perception. So the practice of a Buddhist way of a life is simply allow us to be humble and allow us to respect others' views and others' way of life and the way they think, the way they behave. And tuning into that, blending into that society or blending into with that behaviors, an ability to be detached from it. So that is the reason why Buddha gave these 5 precepts as a form to build up this harmony in the society. And one who would like to raise from this worldly society, Buddha gave to practice the 8 precepts. It's like a lotus flower, just ready to blossom in a sunlight. You simply observing the 8 precepts and disconnecting this worldly affairs and raising above. And that is simply to listening all the defilements that is clouding our minds and clouding our views, clouding our perceptions, and simply dominating the concept of me and the mind, my making and I making concept. But as we practice 5 precepts, and gradually what we see that we are all in common, no one is different. In the meantime, rather than just having a bath with the dirty water again and again, we simply take one step out of that dirty bath by observing the 8 precepts and see that how much am I indulge and engage in this worldly matter and thinking that all the jobs that I'm doing is to fulfill my desire, fulfill my success. And yet, the more we work, the greed never ends. It's like impure. We still keep the impurity because we are having a bath with the dirty water. So 8 precepts is simply to stand back and look at the way we are living and the way we are thinking and the way how we perceive things. And that's simply stepping out from this bath with the dirty water and seeing this dirtiness, how much this is dirt in there, and the ability to see that and withdraw ourselves. And with that, what happens is the way we act, the way we think, and the way we speak become more mindful, and it will be combination of with a good love and kindness and compassion. Words, whether it is at the front or whether it is behind or the back. Whenever we are speaking, we will be speaking with kind and compassion and hope of a good and a benefit of others. And with that, we see that how important our life becomes, and we will be using this life, for our own good and spiritual benefit, and as well as extending it for the benefit of others. And that benefit of others, Buddha called as having the bodhisattva heart, or compassionate heart, helping mind to heal the others' hearts. So that's why we will be able to see that how important this life it is. And it is not just a life that we have got, and despite of this vulnerable life, and we can still enjoy. And not only the enjoyment that we are having, and we are so fortunate that all organs, and we are so fit. And then we have an opportunity to meet with such a wonderful people, those who are encouraging us towards the good, development of good things in our lives, which will help us to solve our problems. And obviously, no one is free from problem, and no one is perfect unless one has fully perfected and become an arhat. So that's why there is a deficiency in every one of us. Someone will get a deficiency in terms of a financial, and others deficiency in terms of an encouragement and encouragement and confidence, and others probably become in a deficiency in a way grasping and not giving, not sharing, and a lack of wisdom. In those situations, all what we need is a guidance, support, help from one another. So that's why having an opportunity to get the good friends who can lead and who can guide us, and that's what we are having it, and that's such a wonderful things to have. So we have to celebrate this. Right? Then we know that how wonderful this is, and we will be using it wisely. Right? We will be using it wisely in our day-to-day life. Since the lockdown and this pandemic, it has given a lot of opportunity for a lot of people. On a Tuesday, I was in one of the meetings on the religious organizations in Scotland, and come across that there are so many activities going on, and encouraging people to follow, and ways to get away from this stress and this depression of being locked down. And we can see that when problem comes, all what we need is to open our eyes and see there are some helps available at all the time. And we can see that how they become so good friend during this such a difficult time. And in my understanding, rather than waiting someone to be kind to you, why don't we be kind to others? And this is because it's in our hand. We cannot ask someone to be kind. We cannot ask someone to do certain things. It's up to their rights and their intention. Whereas it is we who are going to do. Be kind is your right, and be generous is your kind. So you can offer your help to anyone, any person, and that is more important. From that meeting, what I gathered was that only one organization was able to contribute for so many other organizations supporting the people around in Scotland through the different organizations, particularly the food and telephones and mobile connections. And similar incidents and similar projects we can see from different parts of the world helping one another in such a crisis time. And that is simply projecting our kindness and compassion. And that's what we needed to practice, whether we believe in Buddha or not, whether we are practicing Buddhism or not. It's very important, and particularly if you are believing or if you are practicing Buddhism, practicing meditation and call yourself as a Buddhist in particular, has to develop these qualities in you. Not just a holding as I am a Buddhist, but never been implemented all the teachings at all. Holding on to this view that I am a Buddhist, but doing nothing, then it's just a word of mouth. So we have to take on these teachings and practice properly, and then with that we will be able to get on and become a more sensible person. We will be more onto the ability to accept and respect everyone. The reason behind we cannot embrace others, reason behind we cannot accept others is simply we have this perception that this is me and this is mine. I am better. We are closed. We are closed by our own thoughts, own views, our own conceptions. We are closed, and as a result we cannot accept. So first, we have to realize that I am having these preconcept which is blocking my eyesight, and we have to take it away, and only then we will be able to extend our kindness and compassion to one another. And kindness and compassion is one of the greatest teachings of the Buddha. Whether we are studying only philosophy or whether we are practicing, we can see that how important to see the kindness and compassion one has developed through the study or through the practice. And again, I always refer it that when somebody asks me, how can I know that my practice or my meditation is developing or not? My suggestion always has been that if you have developed meditation, your mind should cultivate it, or having this sense of a kindness and compassion towards sentient beings must develop. The more you have developed these so-called four abodes, the loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic, joy, and equanimous mind, then you can judge yourself at how much you have developed in the practice. The more these principles or values become more in your minds and our heart, the practice of a meditation is developing in you significantly. And with that, what happens is these silas, these precepts and moral values automatically embedded in your practice, in your behaviors, in your way of life. And that's how Buddhism becomes so relevant to ourselves and then to others. Some may ask again that, how do I practice Buddhism? First, to practice Buddhism is simply, very simple to know that any unwholesome things do not do any good wholesomes. And most importantly, let your mind be free from all the defilements. Let your mind be pure and clean, so-called the pavassara, luminous. Let your mind be luminous, unconditioned mind. And that is the first thing. And if you really want to be a serious Buddhist, then basically you can go to the temple or go to the monk and request, formal request, to take the 3 refuges and taking the vows that now on I would like to practice Buddhism. But Buddhism is not like other religion. It's up to your decision. It's up to your investigation. If you dislike it, you can leave it at any time, any moment. That's why it's called Buddha's teachings is simply encouraging us to investigate, encouraging us to come and see rather than come and believe. And he won't punish you if you don't believe him. He won't send you to the hell or a heaven on the action that you have taken towards the Buddha or the Buddhism. All action that you have done, that defines. So taking the 5 refuges, 3 refuges, and accepting the 5 precepts, and your conscious decision to practice is the count here, rather than formally going into the temple and paying respect to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and accepting the precepts, but you never practice again, is not the count. So that's why Buddha gave 2 ways of a worship. The one is Amisha Puja, and second is a Patipatti Puja. Amisha Puja is paying respect with the materials, and Patipatti Puja is paying respect or being respectful by practicing in accordance with the teachings. And the Buddha encouraged us to respect. Once we have taken the vows to be a Buddhist, we take that refuge and we practice, and that's how we respect to the Buddha. Now this coming Sunday, is the full moon, and it's one of the very greatest, very important full moon in Buddhist calendar, known as the Asala Puja or the Vasavasa, which I have mentioned yesterday about this introduction to the Asala Puja. So today again I just would like to add a little bit more on that why it is important, and what are the activities normally takes place. So on the full moon day of this Asala, generally lay followers, householders will come to the temple and request the venerable monks, saying that venerable monks, during this 3 months, would you please stay in this temple out of compassion for us and give us chance to look after you and give us chance to learn the Dhamma. And with that, they will offer a piece of cloth for the bathing. And along with that, different tradition will take different. In Sri Lanka, will use the leaf, I forgot what is it called, the leaf and a piece of cloth as a form of invitation to stay in one place for 3 months. Whereas in Thailand, along with this piece of cloth, they will offer you a candle, umbrella, and a honey, and other requisites if they need for the center. Most importantly, offering the candle. And meanwhile, since lay devotees or the householders have invited venerable monks to stay in one place for 3 months, and saying that all the necessary things we will provide you. So in this case, all the Buddhists take this opportunity, take responsibilities to provide food and other necessary items, and coming to the temple again and again, finding out if venerable monks or a temple need any support or need any items. And particularly these days, they will sponsoring, like the lunchtime sponsorship or the talk sponsoring every evenings. There will be a special chantings almost every week, and there will be family members organizing or sponsoring for that event. Taking that opportunity, all the family members will come to the temple and listen to Dhamma talk and coming closer to the Dhamma. And for the monks, venerable monks, very next day after the full moon day, they will come together and do the special chanting and meditation, and after that make an announcement that how big the boundary is. Boundary here means the temple area, temple surroundings, and how far you can go. And also will be instructions that how many days one can go and when to return. And after that, all the monks will make a vow saying that imang te masang was imasming awase imang te masang wasang upema, which means in this temple for this 3 months time I am going to stay. So that's how the vasa will start. And then from there, then all the monks will be residing at the same temple for at least for 3 months, and providing an opportunity for the lay followers to come and study, come and practice, and also giving an opportunity to acquire more merits by offering danas, food or other requisites. In return, monks will give the teachings and live a simple life as an example for lay followers to follow, and also giving a spiritual counseling during this time more closely, and become more close to the temple, and as well as the family members become closer to the teachings and the temple. And this tradition been so long since the time of the Buddha. When we read the suttas, we can see a lot of examples around. So that's why this Sunday will be the full moon day, and if you are close by and if possible to visit the center, you better temples, you better go and do your duties as a real Buddhist or one who is practicing Buddhism. If not, then at least you can sponsor like candles and other requisites or food and any necessary things that a monk or the center needed. And this is again a form of promoting and preservation of the tradition, and as well as supporting the centers and temples around. So I offer this as a tonight's reflection, and also short-term guidance on how to observe this vasa. In a few minutes time we will have a chanting and guided meditation. You're most welcome to join with us. Before that, I would like to extend my thanks to Eros and all the friends, those who have jointly offered around over £300 towards the window in the barn, and probably in 2 or 3 days time repairing the roof in the barn will be complete, and then we will do the flooring. And if any one of you would like to contribute towards it, you're most welcome too. And meanwhile, the Manuri and our family also offering food today, and David and Lena. So I would like to thank you, and may the Buddha bless you. And in a few minutes time we will do the evening chanting. You're most welcome to join with us. Until then, may the Buddha bless you. Take care, and see you tomorrow at 6:30 if you are not continuing for the chanting and guided meditation. Sadhu.